nation will be provided. That was frontlined, or part of those who frontlined that, is former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who made their remarks in as part of his solutions to the problems that Nigeria is facing, our African countries are facing at this time. But recently, the former president has been under fire. He has been facing a lot of criticism when he made some statement at the Yale University in the United States, where he was speaking at the Chino Achebe Leadership Forum on leader, when he was speaking on the leadership issues that we have in Nigeria, where he made so many, where he raised so many concerns. According to the former president, the change of electoral officials, electoral body, and the heads, the leadership of electoral institutions must be changed. He raised concerns about election malpractices, electoral reforms. He made mention of judiciary, the independence of judiciary, and he was also saying, he also criticized the president with his policies. Everything centers around leadership, saying that the problem Nigeria is facing at this moment is the problem of leadership. As a matter of fact, he said Nigeria as a character does not have a problem, but the leadership do have a problem. According to him, the people must make sure that INEC chairman and all other leadership or leaders are vetted, describing what is currently happening in Nigeria as a state capture. Yes, those were his words there. He also described Nigeria as a failed state, a fallen state, and he also said the Nigerian judiciary has been heavily compromised by politicians, saying justice in the country is now considered to be for the highest bidder. Coupled with some other issues, he raised concerns about leadership, the Nigerian conundrum. He raised concerns about the genesis of the Nigerian crisis. He raised concerns about strengthening democracy, administrative. According to him, this will require several levels of intervention. He raised so many concerns. Voter registration, when he was talking about INEC and identification, ballot secrecy or security, vote counting and reporting. It was quite a detailed speech there, or a detailed keynote address. It talked about transparency. It talked about cybersecurity, impunity, corruption in Nigeria, and made mention of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which is Nigeria law enforcement agency. And he talked about some of the issues, or some of the issues concerning them. He said Nigerian report card on corruption. He highlighted that in 2024, corruption continues to rank among the most important problems affecting Nigeria. He said more than 700 billion in cash bribes were paid by citizens to public officials in 2023. He said most bribes are paid in the streets or in public officials' offices or office. He said private sector bribery is increasing but continues to be less prevalent than the public sector. Issues specific to the criminal justice system are a sore point. He also said he will tackle that in the next session. While he was giving that speech, he said in 2023, 5.1 bribes were paid on average by each bribe payer in Nigeria in 12 months prior to his survey. He raised quite a lot of challenges. He said rebuilding the judiciary should be top priority. And I did say earlier that he described this the level of, or the state of Nigeria at this time, as a state capture. It talked about insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, terrorism. It talked about Nigeria's porous borders. It talked about so many areas. It also raised concerns. Food security, which is, according to him, which was a major factor in French Revolution. That's between 1789 to 1799. Food distribution, substandard of food quality, high food prices, agricultural problems, a lot. I can keep going and going like that as to some of the concerns that he raised there. But however, the president or the former president has since been faced with several criticisms. Controversies have been trailing the recent outburst of the former president, especially from the presidency, where they have said that at this point that former President Olusegun Obasanjo should not be taken serious, that he is always or is known for either writing an open address to elected officials or giving a speech like this one that he has just done during the weekend at the Yale University in the United States, or it should. They've said that it should not be taken serious, according to the presidency, and they've also criticized the former president as to saying that some of the issues that he has raised here started during his tenure as both the head of state and the president of Nigeria. Take, for instance, some critics say that the election or the electoral problems we have in Nigeria was when it was the president of Nigeria. Some also say the issue of corruption started during his tenure as the president of Nigeria. Some are saying he is not saint in all of these things. But the basis of all of this conversation, what is a take home in all of this, is that the problem we have or we are facing at this time is that of leadership. In 1983, the Chinua Achebe wrote a story or a book on leadership, which is a major problem, and I think that is what former President Olusegun Obasanjo was trying to reiterate there, that since then the problem of leadership in Nigeria has been persistent, and up until now the problem still remains, and it is raising concern as to how we can address it, even though some have said he is at fault. He is not also saint in all of these issues. Some have also criticized the former president, saying his statement is a direct attack to President Bola Tinubu, where the former president said that some of the policies of the Emilokon government have also made Nigeria, or has also gotten Nigeria into where it is at this moment. This has been the issue since weekend when the outburst started. So we're going to be having conversations around it this morning. Are the concerns raised by the president, are they really the fact? Obviously, some will agree with you that yes, they are the fact. Is the former president in the right, does he have the right to raise these issues? Some will say yes. Some have also said no, he does not, saying he is also at fault in all of these issues. So we'll have conversations around these issues when we return after this break. Stay with us, everyone. 'Cause we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're grooving to...
Is here with us again. Oh yes, Adamimogo 107.7 FM Ido-Ekiti is using this medium to inform and invite children, parents, heads of nursery, primary and secondary schools, churches and individuals wishing to sponsor children and be a part of our 2024 Father Christmas show beginning from 2nd to 24th December 2024. Come and let's revel in the season of love and giving. It promises to be fun-filled. Our Father Christmas will arrive from Rome and be seated at his grotto in our station to receive children, dance and play with them. There are lots of take-home goodies and gifts from Father Christmas, as well as toys and play gadgets to make children's visit interesting, long-lasting and memorable. For further inquiries, please contact Desmond Olaoluwa on 0806 511 4430 or Bayo Babalola on 0803 562 5812. Adamimogo 107.7 FM Ido-Ekiti 2024 Father Christmas show promises to be exciting. Be a part of it.
right, welcome back from that short break. Now let's begin the conversation. If you're just joining us, Adamimogo 107.7 FM is the dial, and the program you're listening to is the follow-up where we are discussing currently the concerns raised by the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, at the Chinua Achebe Leadership Summit at the Yale University in the United States, where he raised concerns about leadership, criticizing the Independent Electoral Commission, calling for electoral reform, criticizing the level of corruption in the country, also blaming the judiciary for not being independent, raising concerns about corruption, insecurity, banditry, coupled with some other areas of concerns that he has raised there. But the whole conversation is still based or centered around leadership. And there has been controversy back and forth. The presidency has also said that Obasanjo at this point should not be taken serious, saying that some of the issues he raised started during his tenure as a president. These are what is at hand at this time. And joining us to have the conversation is a former special assistant on political affairs South, the former Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Ayodele Farashi, is a member of the All Progressives Congress as well, and he was a former, is the secretary to Ekiti State South West Local Government. He joins us virtually this morning to have this conversation with us. Is Mr. Dakpo Oshuniyi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning, Oladoyin. Thank you very much. Let me correct, you made a statement now. Let me correct it clearly now. I was the Special Assistant Political Affairs to the former governor of...
Hello. Hello.
I'm with you.
Yes, you were trying to... I introduced you as a former Special Assistant on Political Affairs to the former Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi.
Kayode Fayemi.
Yes.
You mentioned the former governor, Kayode Fayemi. Correction.
Okay, thank you so much. Apologies for that. I must say thank you indeed. Now, let's get into the conversation. I believe, or I want to believe, that you've seen some of the concerns or issues raised by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, where he was talking about the leadership problem we have in this country. Specifically, or generally, he said Nigeria as a character does not have, or Nigeria does not have a character problem, but leadership problem. Let's begin the conversation from that, or from there. Would you agree with him that Nigeria has a leadership problem?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, with you.
I was asking that we should start the conversation with the general issue that was raised by the former president while he was giving his keynote address there, that Nigeria is faced with a leadership problem. Do you agree with him on that?
The former president about the Obasanjo was fact, even if not someone of an average Nigerian today knows that Nigeria has a deficit in its leadership. Yes, agree with you.
Hello. It appears that we have a little bit of challenge as to the network connection there. How about we reconnect and see if we can have progress of this conversation? Let's reconnect. right, welcome back from that. We indeed apologize for the mix-up there. It was the network that is acting funny. Now we have Mr. Dakpo join us properly. Now we have him join us, and he's now speaking to us. Yes, you were trying to raise some. I was asking that on a general level, would you agree with the former president that leadership is a problem of Nigeria?
Yes, I agree with him 100%. Like an average Nigerian we do today. Yes.
Why?
Yes, like I said, Baba Obasanjo was actually making a statement that is obvious to everyone to see today. That the problem we have in Nigeria is just the problem of having the wrong people in position of leadership today. And these have been the bane of the developmental deficits that we have in the country today. That we have in the country today, yes. So Baba was actually making a statement of fact. And maybe as we continue in this discussion, then maybe I'll be able to tell you why I say that, yes.
Well, some have criticized former President Obasanjo, saying some of the plans erased, that is also part of the starters. Let me use it that way. Take, for instance, the issue of election. You would remember that he talked about changing or the appointment of electoral officials, especially their leaders, should be changed, and he talked about judiciary, but specifically on INEC. He was so specific about INEC as to how they conduct the election, no transparency and all of that. And some have said that he is also he was a part of those who frontlined issues with INEC and all of that.
Yes. Are we together?
Yes, we are together. Please go ahead.
Yes. Those people that criticized the former president are also correct, 100%. But that will not remove the fact of the statements that the former president made. Yes, it was part of what led us to where we are today. Yes, but still, he had made a clear statement that no person in the country today will say he was wrong by saying that. So, I mean, sincerely, if we are to throw away what he said totally, it amounts to throwing away the baby with the bathwater altogether. So he said the fact, and those people who are criticizing him, that it was the genesis, if not the genesis, part of what led us to where we are now. Yes, they were also saying the fact. In 2004, you will recall that under the leadership of this same Baba, what had never happened and had never happened even since then happened in this country. A sitting governor was abducted for days. A sitting governor was taken away under his watch. So any other person want to say that Baba doesn't have the right to say what he said. But that is not the same thing as saying what he said was totally wrong.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes, definitely. Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
All
right. Good that you've raised that, because I was about to ask you that for those who believe that Baba Obasanjo does not have or is not in that position to criticize or make criticism, because a lot of people that believe that these concerns is a direct attack to President Tinubu. But some have also said that, no, there are issues, just like you have said. But some are also questioning where or why should Obasanjo, who was a part or a genesis of this, or part of the genesis of this problem, come out at this point to now raise these issues? Hello. All right, I guess the network is quite funny. Again, let's go for this short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. All right, thank you for joining us again. Apologies indeed. Now we, in the continuation of the conversation, I was asking earlier, that what do you have to say to those who believe that former President Obasanjo does not, do not have the right to make those statements at this time, saying he is also at fault in some of the issues he has raised?
Yes, they are saying the right thing too, and they have the right to say what they are saying. But then, Baba Obasanjo is not alone. We have experienced in this country those who claim to know the solution to the problem that we have now, and now later on they are in power. They are in that position that they actually sought for, and yet they could not follow up, just like the name of your program. Follow up with what they have professed before they get to this program. So Baba Obasanjo is not alone. We see how people like him today who are criticizing the same position of leadership they were yesterday, and they could not make the right changes they are claiming that should have been done by their successors now. So,
all right, now let's talk about the electoral reforms that he was so hard and specific about. Looking at what happened in during the weekend at Ondo State, because I was part of those who monitored the exercise, and one of the major issues that characterized that election is vote buying. A lot of people says that vote buying has now become a norm under the watch of the electoral body. Talking about electoral reform as raised by the former president, how do we address that?
Yes, my brother, let me just come clear on this one. And this is my opinion about this. Yes, vote buying is condemnable, and it should be condemned by every progressive in this country. It is going to be a detriment for Nigeria to get to where we are expected to be in the years to come. It will make our development strides be very slow. Yes, but let me remind you too that in this same country, under some different leadership that we have in this country, then there was no much of vote buying, but there were ballot snatching, killing, maiming, even of the electorate, political parties, oppositions during elections like this. But we can see those era are phased down. So I want to believe too, like someone who believes in the current leadership that we have, and who believe in the Nigerian factor, that yes, it could be a problem now, but like those problems phase out, this one too will actually phase out. That is not saying that all hands must be on deck. Yes, some people have been saying it, and I want to agree. This should be one of the major assignments of EFCC. The EFCC and other financial crime monitoring agencies should not turn blind eyes to this phenomenon. It is becoming worrisome. It is actually becoming worrisome. And people, and the danger in it is that it will continue to give us the wrong kind of leadership and the wrong image. But speaking about Ondo election, thank God you say you are there. Most people have been saying it, but even observers, both local and international observers, have come out to say the election have been very fair and credible. Fine, vote buying is an element that must be tackled here. And these are the areas that we need to turn to the leadership. Changing the INEC officials, changing those who are in INEC now, may not be the solution. People who are coming to aid INEC are still going to be Nigerian. So it is going to start in our society, changing our belief. And the politicians, the leadership too, the political leadership of different parties must have a new kind of orientation that this will eventually bring the country down if it's not caught on time.
You raised the issue about changing INEC officials or the leadership will not be the problem. I would want to say or remind you that part of the concerns about those who have queried the leadership of INEC is that should not be an appointment made by the president. They've also said that even state electoral bodies should not be, the chairman should not be appointed by state governors, saying that they should be appointed based on merit. Some civil society organizations have raised that concern. So, how do we now ensure that the government does not have a way of influencing, even though they are not appointed directly by either the president or the government. But one thing that is that it is often projected is that government often find a way of influencing things to their own favor. So how do we ensure that that does not occur or happen in any way?
Let me just come in from that your last statement, my darling brother. You have stated the fact of the problem that we have now. Those who are clamoring that the president should not be the one to appoint the INEC chairman, the governor should not be the one to appoint the State Independent Electoral Commission chairman. Then what was their proposition? Who do they expect to appoint these people in position, to make them in position? Let me tell you, my dear brother, if it is the National Assembly or the state legislature, even if we have career progression that will lead to someone becoming the INEC chairman or the CX chairman, will those people still not be under the influence of this executive? You have said it. The president will still have the influence. The president appoint the head of service. The president have the influence in making the person that will become the Senate president or the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Veto to the state governors. So up till now, I doubt if there's any state governor who will allow someone to become Speaker of the State House of Assembly without a support. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes.
So who will the chairman or the CX chairman? Will they come from another country? Will they be appointed by the United Nations? Will they be appointed by the European Union or the African Union? No, they will be appointed by these people too. But what we are saying is, we are going to, what I expected the leadership of the country to do is for us to take a proactive action in making sure that the right people are in this position, people who are capable of doing it. Then in this narration, since weekend, one thing I bring out of all this narration is that the tenure of INEC chairman, the tenure of this CX chairman should not be as long as we have it now. It should not be as long as we have it now. We must not have a repeated mistakes over and over again. If there's a problem, we should be able to we have capable people in the country. We have people who are capable in the country as a whole to be the INEC chairman. We have people in the states who can be CX chairman. But I don't agree that a chairman of INEC, a chairman of CX should stay as long as running 2, 3, 4 elections or election calendars as a goal. So we should be able to experience different people in these positions. But like I said earlier, the INEC chairman, the CX chairman will not be able to do it alone. The security agencies have a role to play. The people too have a role to play until we stand up and say, look at what's happening in those states. The major states that everybody is holding on to. Ati Dibo, Ati Gowo, and this is trending. This is trending. So the people too, the electorate too, they are not free of this problem too.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't.
Competition has to cut across. It's not about INEC alone.
Yes, it's not about INEC alone. It has to cut across. But then, there are so many issues. There are so many concerns. But good that you have suggested that their tenure should not be as long as they have it now. Now let's move into other areas. Some of the issue that was raised by the president or the former president is the issue of corruption, which many people have said that is the grandfather of all of the problems that we have in Nigeria. Specifically, the president revealed that in 2024, corruption continues to rank among the most important problems affecting Nigeria, and it was revealing some things, saying that more than 700 billion in cash bribes were paid to citizens, to public officials in 2023. He raised so many issues and revealed so many concerns about corruption there, and we have always have anti-corruption agencies who they also have their budgetary allocations, getting money as to doing all of these things, and many question that. As a matter of fact, some have even alleged that the anti-corruption agencies are also corrupt agencies as well. They've made the allegations over and over again. So going forward, what do we do to address this problem or this menace where people who are meant to solve a problem are being seen as part of the problem?
let me correct this statement. They are not just being seen by some people. So if you say they are being seen, that means maybe we are lying against them. Actually, it is an obvious fact. It's an obvious fact that those people who are supposed to fight corruption are being, at one time or the other, found wanting in their duty. Of reasons, the chairman of the Economic Financial Crime Commission, I read it or heard it somewhere where he said that he is prepared to punish any area staff of the commission who is found wanting. And this is a statement of fact that some members of the commission, staff of the commission, have been found wanting in one area or the other. This is not limited to INEC alone. Look at the case of other security agencies. These are problems. I mean, for the first time, and because of the economic downturn we are experiencing in the country, you had it on air, staff of security agencies lamenting unpaid arrears of salaries, unpaid promotion allowances, unpaid this, unpaid that. Even it took the president of this country to decide on the minimum wage for workers in this country 17 months after the fuel subsidy removal. I mean, this is not fair enough for anybody that wants the best from its employees. You want people to fight corruption, they must be well prepared for. Look at the way the government is the judiciary, for an example. They are treating the judiciary with I don't want to call it pamper. Though the judiciary too, they are still complaining. Staff of the judiciary, not all of them are judges or magistrates. They are still complaining that it's not enough. They are still complaining, but they are treating them because they know if they didn't provide for them, if they didn't give them what they need, how would you expect them to dispense justice with truth and with utmost integrity? It's impossible. This you cut across all the other security agencies. You cannot expect someone who is hungry to go and monitor an election for you, where money is flying up and down, and you will not expect that person to be compromised. So this is the Nigerian factor, and that's why it has to start with taking care of those people who are meant to take care of the to curb corruption, to fight corruption as an agency.
Good that you mentioned the issue of judiciary. When you look at the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory with what he's doing with the judiciary at this time, giving them houses and cars and all of that, they have also said, many have also raised concern as to trying to buy the judiciary with some of those things, which, according to the minister, are their right, which will foster their independence. So how do we balance these two issues?
Whether they are condemning that action, that is the best action. You don't expect a judge, you don't expect a judge of the Supreme Court, a judge of an high court that does not have his own residence or that has borrowed money to build house from the bank, and the bankers are on his neck. He borrowed money to pay school fees of his children, and you don't expect such not to be compromised. If you have people who are bankrupt and they are in the position to fight corruption, you don't expect them to actually fight corruption. So the FCT minister, under the leadership of the president, have done the right thing, and this should be emulated totally by the presidency and by the state governors too. Judges, magistrates, people in the judiciary should be well taken care of, and that is the big, and not just that, like I mentioned, the security agencies too, across board, should be taken care of, and that is the beginning of actually fighting corruption.
Now, talking about insecurity, which is also a major factor that has been, I think, even a little child would understand that at this point there is something called insecurity because it keeps resurfacing at every moment. And what you hear security agencies say is that we are working on it. We are on top of the game. We are doing this. We have deployed this so number of troops. We have deployed this so number of troops. Look at what is happening recently in Kebbi State with the Luku Kawa bandit people terrifying the area and all of that. And what security agencies do say oftentimes is that, okay, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, but this issue keeps persisting. Now the former president is raising concern about it, just the same way you said, a lot of Nigerians are raising concern about it. So at what point would Nigerians stop having issues in terms of insecurity?
That's a very good question, my brother. Very good question. But let me start by saying this. We are in a pathetic situation. And this is, to go back to where we started this conversation, the problem, the leadership deficit that we are having. It is, some people, some school of thought are saying insecurity is not unique to Nigeria, it's a global phenomenon, it's this, and that. So many factors have been given to be responsible for insecurity. Some people talk about the global warming, some people talk about the prohibition of arms from neighboring countries that are having conflict here and there. But my brother, the truth of the matter is, one thing that leads people to commit crime is survival. Is survival. Is survival. Look at, I read it online, I don't know whether it's true or not, that this Nakukawa, the one you mentioned now, are beginning to recruit members into their fold. I mean, counting them with money, good money. Between you and I, when someone is hungry and he has an option of getting food somewhere, where would you expect that person to go to, if not to the source of food? People grow to the life. They grow towards where they are going to feed themselves, where they are going to make a living. Nobody actually wants to die, except it is the only option. People don't want to die. They want to live. So the problem is that leadership deficit that we are having now. Leadership should be concerned about the people. Leadership should be concerned about the people. We must understand that the welfare of the people, when it's lacking, when it's not well attended to, it will push the people into crimes the more. And if the welfare is not attended to, even if you continue to build our streets with glasses, even if you continue to build infrastructure, it's a Yoruba saying that says that Ileti Omoti Aoba Ko Taobato Oluma Ko Ile Ti Ako Oluma Kota. So this is the difference between most of our leaders that are so much concerned about this infrastructure. All of them are talking about infrastructure. We want to build this. We want to build east-west coastal road. This, that. We want to build overhead bridges. We want to do this and that. When the people are crying, are begging for food, people are virtually on the street today begging for food. So, and such people will eventually loot. Not only loot, they are going to be the one to vandalize this infrastructure as we are seeing at every opportunity that they have now. So, brother, the issue is that leaders must make the welfare of the people a priority. Infrastructure, fine, but it is the welfare first. People are the ones that will use this infrastructure. An unborn or a dead man will not use any of these infrastructures we are spending money on. Any infrastructure that will not bring welfare to the people, that will not bring food to the table of the people, that will not improve the health of the people, will eventually lead to insecurity.
All right. Now let's open the studio line for people to make contributions and ask questions if they have any. 0704700771 or 0707276678. And if you're watching from diaspora, +234 704 700 7702. Hello, good morning.
Hello, my presenter.
Good morning.
You are blessed this morning. This is a platform I love to listen to. The man speaking to you there has spoken reasonably. The Obasanjo's presentation during Ashebe's lecture in Overs, I wouldn't blame him. Obasanjo realized what Murtala left behind when he was a military officer. And actually, he did well because he introduced free education at the College of Education and the Teachers College. But when Obasanjo came as a presidential president in 1999, he created cities and servants. That is crisis. But that is not an issue. The man you brought to your studio today was total to Fayemi. Let's ask him what Fayemi did in his 4 years as governor of Ekiti State. Let me tell you one thing. If you are going to be realistic, to God who made me, let Fayemi come to Ekiti North and contest as senator. Fayemi left salaries of 2018. Fayose left the bonus of 18 years. Deduction from our salary to cooperative. The present governor in Ekiti State is wearing the burden he has not realized. Let me tell you one thing. The man speaking, to God who made me, he has spoken well, but I don't believe in what he's saying. The Lord will bless him. Let him come back and realize the activities of Fayemi and the Fayose in Ekiti State.
Right.
Let them go back.
Thank you.
They come to Ekiti State.
Thank you
and
indeed.
Apologize to what they did to local government.
Thank you indeed. We need to give room to other callers there. But before then, I'd like for Mr. Dapo to make reactions to some of the issues there. Good that we are talking about, leadership and governance at this time. And that's a caller there who has raised some certain concerns. And you were part of the Fayemi government. So this is an opportunity for you to make response to that.
Thank you very much, Louis. And I also appreciate the person who have cleared his mind. This is the way it should go. But then, it's not the money.
Exactly.
Just as it's me. Yes, I happen to be his age when he was governor. The contact was governor in the state. And like the man actually said, between you and me and him too, Dr. Joe Kawodefai did his best in the state then. Let me remind you that the country was not like this in the second time of the Kawodefai. That was when we have COVID-19, the lockdown that the state. The revenue accruing to the state then was not what we are having now. Dr. John Kawodefai never owed any workers any arrears of salary during that 4 years tenure. Of course, people might be talking about deduction, talking about this. Yes, they have the right to say this. And while he was living, he gave us an Omoluabi 100% as governor in the person of
all right, we have a call there. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
Adifalana from Ayegusi.
All right, go ahead.
The man who got here has spoken well on Obasanjo's issue. Obasanjo has maybe commented on constructive issues which Nigerians are facing now. But I want to talk on one man. That's the man who spoke before me, spoke about Dr. Fayemi. Now, Fayemi was a governor here. He owned us. The man said he didn't own us. I'm a retired man here. I knew how many months he owed me and how many gratuities that he did not pay. And he went away with our billions of naira, which is facing with the EFCC now, if I may correct. So, people from Ekiti South, Ekiti North, where Mr. Kayode is living, or is an Ibidibia, he's saying that he's coming as a senator in the future. He shouldn't.
All right. Thank you so much for your take there. It has not been. I want to believe, Mr. Dakpo, that it has not been in any way declared that the former governor is going for a senator. But I'd like you to react briefly to some of these issues before we now wrap it up on the conversation this morning, because we are totally out of time.
Yes, I look forward to one of these days if I have the opportunity to come online here in this your follow-up program, and definitely we have the opportunity to actually discuss that enigmatic personality,
exactly.
a governor like no other governor, for John Fayemi. Then we'll talk about the man himself.
All right.
I'm hearing it from them now that Dr. Fayemi is looking forward to become a synod, which will be of a great immense benefit to the people of Ekiti State. When Dr. John Fayemi was coming back to become governor in 2018, I was part of the campaign then. I remember he gave Ekiti one phrase that this is a government that will restore our values.
All right.
And he had never restore the values to the
Mr. Dakpo.
The governor who is now sharing prosperity in Ekiti now.
Mr. Dakpo, the conversation is indeed not about former governor Adelifa. Like I did say, we have to reschedule to. Why do I keep saying Adelifa? Former governor Kade Fayemi. We have to reschedule to have that discussion and have that conversation. But let's wrap up our conversations with the concerns by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. When you look at the government of President Bola Tinubu, one thing that is common in all of the things that they say when there are issues or when they raise concern or when Nigerians make outbursts is that we are on top of the game. Please be patient with us. Please, we are doing this. Please, we are doing this. We have to take a baby step. We have to go through fire before we see we have to pass through there's light at the end of the tunnel and all of those things. And many people have questioned that how long. Look at the query, the subsidy removal policy, the floating of the Naira policy, coupled with some other policies that the government has taken, which, according to the government, is geared towards bettering the state of the economy or the economy of Nigeria. So the question is, how long will it take the government of the day to solve these problems? Obviously, we know that these problems that are generated for over years can't be solved in a day or in a year. But how long is it going to take? That's the question.
Doye, I appreciate this question, and I know this is the same thing many Nigerians are asking themselves or want to ask anybody now. Many of us who believe in the ability of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to govern this nation because he's prepared for that position. Many of us who believe in it. Many people are gradually losing faith here. But one thing I want to give to the president, and I want to tell you, Doye, is that the president has been sincere about this matter from day one. And the president has not for one day deviated from that sincerity, telling us that this is what is ahead, telling us we must pass through this to get to our promised land. And the president has not deviated. So hanging on to that faith is what we have left now. Believing that we are going to begin to experience the changes now. He gave us a time limit. He told us by so time we are going to be having a relief from all these policies that are affecting the people. I am sure the president has not one day come on air or in any statement tell Nigerians that we are not suffering, that we are not passing through difficult times. He kept saying it that he's aware. So